No matter the location, from O-A-K-L-A to LV, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and today's show is presented by Magic Spoon. I don't know if anybody out there is trying to eat a little bit healthier, but if you also want to eat healthy and eat great tasting cereal, shout out to Magic Spoon for hooking us up with this awesome offer. $5 off your very first order at magicspoon.com/Raiders. That code is going to be available for y'all in the comments. It's also available for you in the description down below. Try the cocoa, peanut butter, frosted, a whole bunch of different awesome flavors over at Magic Spoon. Let's get into the latest news here around the Las Vegas Raiders. Over the weekend, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported that the Raiders and Derek Carr have been talking about a contract extension. I wanted to be able to take a deep dive here on today's show and give you my 2 cents of whether or not I would give Carr an extension. He still has 2 years left on his deal, and this has been actually a pretty popular topic on the Raiders Report before. He's scheduled to make $22.1 million this year, and then $19.9 million next year. The reason why this is kind of an interesting thing is because Derek's good. The issue is he also hasn't won many football games, but I don't really think it's fair to put wins just on the quarterback. So how about this, y'all? I want you to be the GM. Be Mike Mayock. Should the Raiders extend Derek Carr? I want you to type E for extend, or I do want you to go down in the comment section right now and type D for don't. I'm going to give you both reasons because that's what I think I need to be able to do, especially when it comes to Derek Carr. I will say yes if he takes a team-friendly deal. I don't want to pay him anything more than $25 million. The other reason why I'm saying yes on a team-friendly deal right now, you will not be able to get Derek Carr for a cheaper contract than right now. The salary cap is down at $180. I bet you it's going to balloon up to a little bit higher, and then when you see guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, hell, even Baker Mayfield, when they get their deals, that's probably going to make Derek a little bit more expensive. The other reason why I say I want him on a team-friendly deal, here's a quote from Derek. Everybody knows it. It went viral. I want to do it here. I don't want to do it anywhere else. I would probably quit football if I had to play somewhere else. I'm a Raider. So if he's a Raider, as far as I'm concerned, if we offer him a team-friendly deal, nothing more than $25 million a year, he should absolutely take it. Do I think that if Carr wanted to make more money because he's actually talented, like he could easily be in that $30 million a year range. However, if he wants to win football games, and if he wants to take that money that we could potentially save and then invest it into free agents, maybe go out and trade for a top player, or go out and really build around him, that's what I'm talking about, a team-friendly deal. Now, if he doesn't want to go ahead and do that, right, here's the other aspect of it. Like, you don't have to extend Derek. He still has 2 years left on his contract. And there's a part of me that's like, well, do we really want to extend a quarterback who doesn't really have a great track record of winning football games? That's part of it, right? He's only got $2.5 million guaranteed left on his deal. I like that a lot. The fact that you only have to pay him $2.5 million, and that's guaranteed money, essentially, like if he's cut this season and then next year, there's no dead cap hit. So you could play it out this season. If he doesn't play well, you could simply move on from him. And having that flexibility at quarterback, I do like that a lot. The 47-63 career record, there's going to be a bunch of people that point to this. The 0 playoff appearances simply because he got hurt in 2016. But how can you really continue to commit long-term to a quarterback if you're not winning football games? It really comes down to that. Rookies, they're a lot cheaper. You're seeing a lot of football teams out there be able to create these really talented teams because these young quarterbacks are on cheaper contracts. If I can take that money, that $25 million a year that I potentially would have gave to Derek Carr, and I can sprinkle that around on defense and on offense and make the overall team better, that's what I want, because it is a football. Well, football is a team sport, right? So here's the last point. Invest the money elsewhere. Because, again, if I'm going to pay a young quarterback X amount of dollars, I can just put a better football team around that young guy. So I tried to tell you why I would. I also tried to tell you why I wouldn't. But, again, I do want you guys to go down in the comments section and let me know, does it actually make sense to extend Derek Carr? Type E for extend or type D for don't. Here's my question here on the Raiders Report, and I'm genuinely curious, which is the best for Raiders news? So which platform, social media outlet, where do you guys get your Raiders news and rumors? Where's the best? If you think it's YouTube, I want you to type YT. If it's on Facebook, I want you to type FB. Maybe it's Twitter. Maybe you're a big fan there. Go over and type T, or if you're a fan of a certain podcast, let me know. Please type P. So let's get into some rumors here on today's show. The first one is around signing Geno Atkins. And one of my biggest jobs here is not only be able to give you guys my personal opinion, but I also find articles all over the internet and give you my spin on those. So for this one, I'm going to give it only one Chucky head. I think it's a small shred of truth, probably like a 5% chance of happening, honestly. So there was an article out there from Bleacher Report on one move every NFL team should make before the season begins. The Raiders' move was going out and signing veteran defensive tackle free agent Geno Atkins. And I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that simply just look at the numbers like, well, Mitch, Atkins, he played in only 8 games. He had 1 tackle, 1 quarterback hit. The fact that he's 32 years old, he's a little bit washed up. I simply disagree with that, and I've actually brought up this point multiple times on this show before, that the biggest reason why Atkins didn't play is because the Cincinnati Bengals didn't allow him. Do I think that he could still be a reliable player, potential starter on this Raiders team? Yes, I do. Would I rather have Geno Atkins or Solomon Thomas? I still might actually rather have Atkins because I do think that he is the overall better player. But when you look at his numbers over the last, just go 5 seasons, the season that's going to scare y'all is 2020, but that's just simply because he didn't play. Now, the numbers have been slightly going down. I'm looking at more of the quarterback hits, but if you're still telling me now I can go out and get a guy who's probably going to put up over 30 tackles, who's going to give me close to 10 quarterback hits and about 5 sacks, and that's still on the market, which I do believe is exactly what you can get at Atkins, then maybe you should go out and go ahead and get him. So what do you say? If the Raiders could only get one free agent, should it be Geno Atkins? Because that's the article here. I'm not saying just simply sign Atkins. If you could only make one more move on the free agent market, would it be Atkins? I want you to type Y for yes, N for no. I'm going to give you my one player that I think the Raiders should go out and get. But first, I do want to give some love to today's sponsor, Magic Spoon. If y'all haven't started using it yet, you better get on the Magic Spoon train right now. MagicSpoon.com/Raiders. This cereal is so freaking tasty, and it's actually healthy for you. 0 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 13 grams of protein per scoop. Compared to some other rival cereals, which is on the back, protein, 13 grams of Magic Spoon. Your competitors, 2 grams. Net carbs, 4 grams to 30 grams. Sugar, 0 grams over at Magic Spoon, 12 grams per bowl. I mean, you want to talk about calories alone. If you're trying to eat healthier while still trying to, have a sweet tooth, like, it's a possibility thanks to Magic Spoon. Every single night before I go to bed, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, whether I'm watching Netflix, whether I'm watching whatever, I want something to eat. And this stuff curbs your appetite. So the fact that you're really only getting 140 calories and you can still have that sweet tooth feeling, that's awesome. So think of all the awesome cereal that y'all had as a kid, whether it was Frosted Flakes, Cocoa Puffs. They have all these amazing cereals available for you, and you can save $5 off your very first order. It's magicspoon.com/Raiders, and if you're trying to stay keto-friendly, it's also keto-free, low-carb, sweet, and delicious. I promise y'all, you will not be disappointed. So the free agent that I actually would go out and get is, no disrespect to Geno Atkins, if I can only make one move, I'm going to go out and I want Brian Poole, slot cornerback. The latest report out there is that Nevin Lawson could be the potential starter, followed up by Nate Hobbs and Amik Robertson. I want Hobbs and Robertson to take that job, but if they're telling me right now that Nevin Lawson's going to be my starting corner in week 1, or I guess not week 1, he's suspended the first 2 games, that's an issue to me. So why not go out and get the top slot corner on the market? If I could make a free agent wish list right now based on overall need of this football team, I would have Brian Poole at number 1. Nicole Roby-Coleman at number 2. Justin Houston, edge rusher at 3 over Melvin Ingram. Yes, simply because Houston has proved to me that he can stay healthy. Geno Atkins and then Richard Sherman. If you do need an outside corner, then maybe Casey Hayward is willing to go into the slot. All right, next story coming up here on the Raiders Report is around Brandon Parker. And are the Raiders potentially going to cut their former 3rd-round pick back in 2018? This one's 2 Chucky heads, man. I'm starting to think people are talking. I didn't quite have the cojones to give it 3 Chucky heads. It was pretty likely. but we're getting close to that territory here. So there was an article out there by ESPN that was essentially trying to predict one player, one veteran, if you will, that could be cut on each team. ESPN, Paul Gutierrez simply said it himself. He is on the roster bubble, and as soon as he was drafted in the 3rd round of 2018, a lot of people got mad at me for his rankings, but you can go back and look at all my videos. That's the cool part about YouTube. The day that the Raiders re-signed Sam Young, I said this is bad news for Brandon Parker, because when you look at this depth chart here, if he can't win the swing tackle job over Sam Young, that's an issue. And last season, Young beat Parker in that department when Trent Brown went with an injury. So the Raiders go out, you draft Alex Leatherwood and Colt Miller. You're hoping that Parker and Young never have to touch the field. But if it does come down to it, what happens if they go to Young? Mike Mayock also this offseason hyped up Jones Smith. He didn't hype up Parker, so that could be a potential there where they can move on from him. And then you go back to look at all the picks realistically before Mayock in this 2018 draft. Colt Miller, he's hanging around. He deserves it, right? P.J. Hall, see ya. Brandon Parker still on the roster. Arden Key, hasta la vista. Nick Nelson, no longer a member of the team. Mo Hurst, wish he'd still be here, but he's not here. Townsend, Azim Victor, and then Marcel Aitman still on the team. We could literally be looking at a roster from all the picks in that 2018 draft be gone minus Colton Miller. That's a pretty mind-blowing and also pretty sad thing to say out loud. So in terms of cutting Parker, it shouldn't surprise anyone. He played in 8 games last year. He allowed 1 sack, but for a 25-year-old, realistically, never quite had the opportunities to totally flourish. But he also, when he did get the opportunities, he did not look too good. So what do you guys do here? Should the Raiders keep Parker? I want you to type K for keep, or I do want you to go down and type C for cut. Some people are yelling at me right now in the live chat to cut him. Again, this one would not surprise me whatsoever. Now, if you guys do want to get to know me a little bit better, if you guys want to hit me up and have a drink, maybe some food, I'm going to be in Las Vegas from July 14th to the 19th, but I wanted to be able to set something up. That way I could get some people together from the Raiders Report. So if you want to meet me up at Virgil's Barbecue, you can look it up for the exact same address. It's at the Link Promenade. I'm going to be there July 17th from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. That's going to be Vegas times. If you need any questions whatsoever, if you want to make sure I'll be there, you can hit me up on Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. All right, let's go to the last story here on News and Rumors presented by Magic Spoon. Is this team going to end up trading Jalen Richard? Oh, man, I saw this article by FANSIDED, and I wanted to be able to give you guys my opinion on it. It's only one Chucky head. It's a small shred of truth. In terms of should the Raiders trade Jalen Richard? Yeah, that's 4 Chucky heads. The issue is I just don't really know if there's going to be a team out there that's willing to trade for this running back. So the article was titled 3 Teams That Should Trade for Richard. I saw this and was like, okay, I wanted to be able to give you guys my opinion simply because, no disrespect to the person that wrote this article, I just don't think it was very educational and, well, very kind of misleading here. So the Raiders, they would save $3.5 million in 2021 if they traded them. The biggest problem is I just don't really know if anybody out there is going to trade for a running back that's going to make $3.5 million. Does he offer some special teams ability? Sure he does. Does he offer some ability to catch the football? Absolutely. That's still not worth $3.5 million. So here's what FANSIDED had to say on trading Richard. Would also be pretty cheap. Sorry, he wouldn't be. And he also would be only a $3.5 million cap hit. It probably wouldn't take a lot to trade for him either, as a mid to late round pick or depth player would probably get the job done. So, if you honestly believe that you're going to get a mid-round pick for Richard at $3.5 million, I simply say, I'm sorry, you're going to get a 6th, and I mean a 6th at the absolute best. If somebody right now, I'd be like, hey, Mitch, 7th round pick for Jalen Richard, I would take it in a heartbeat. Not that I don't think he's a good player, but if I don't have to pay my third-string running back $3.5 million and I can save all that money, that's why you want them to trade, because if the Raiders decide to cut him, you still have to give him $1.13 million. So in terms of the teams that would go out and trade for him, this is what FANSIDED had to go on to say, and I actually totally agree with all 3 of these destinations. The New York Jets make sense. The Cincinnati Bengals, no longer with Giovanni there. The Atlanta Falcons, another team that makes a lot of sense, but you can't just simply say that you're going to get a mid-round pick for Richard, and you can't also say that paying $3.5 million for a third-string running back is a cheap deal. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to be able to talk about it. That's my job here at the Raiders Report.